I was wondering how you felt, or you watched the Oscars, and how you felt when you saw Selma Blair walk out on that red carpet and listen to her interview after the Oscars, and how you felt during the whole thing. I sobbed every time I saw her. The interview, I was sobbing, and it made me think of you and how strong you are.
I was very proud and very grateful. I don't know if many of you know, but so the first film I did after I was diagnosed was with Selma. I was playing someone who was like obsessed with her, so it was great. We had all these scenes together where we were kind of like, I was trying to mimic her and stuff. And she was incredibly kind. I wasn't telling anyone at the time, but we were both going through some health stuff, and we kind of tried to help each other, and we have touched base since then. I knew of her diagnosis. Coming out in the way she did was just so incredibly brave. I was really, really proud of her. I was really proud of her for owning it too, because one of the things that I think is so important is every one of us fills a different place in terms of who we are and what we can be in the world and society. One of the things is Selma is very aesthetic. She has an incredible sense of beauty and grace, and I really, me, I could give a what about fashion and stuff, but she gets it, and she knows it, and she owns it, and so I felt like what I loved was the way that she expressed herself, and the grace that she used, and what that meant to so many people. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful for her. And again, it goes back to, I feel like so many of us in this world are going through things. And for some reason, we're afraid to be honest with each other. And if we could just break down that barrier and start talking about it and start figuring it out together, life would be so much better. But it is an epically scary barrier to break down. And so I know what she must have confronted to have that strength and make a decision. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hello.
So lately I've been on a Criminal Minds binge, and when your episode came up, which was amazing, and you're also on one of my other favorite TV shows besides Supernatural, Sons of Anarchy. Every time I see you, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've met her, I've hugged her. Who, when you're watching something, you get excited because you've met them and you appreciate their work?
I'm trying to think. It happens probably a good amount. I mean, one of the things, so I was kind of like a chronic guest spotter and recurring role person, so I tend to think I get to pop in your homes unexpectedly and say, hey. So I've gotten to work with a lot of really cool people. I'm trying to think. There are not that, I think there are not that many actors that do that completely, that cause that fluttery thing in me. I admire actors so much, but I think because I grew up doing it, it doesn't seem that important, because that would mean that I thought what I did was that important. Does that make sense? So the people that do that for me are usually philanthropic people. I feel that way every time I see something Giles Dooley is working on. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know him. I actually know him. I get that sense more with people who are out in the world, doing that world-changing philanthropic stuff. That, to me, that is where I feel that total fluttering. I can't believe I met that person. Because I think also with acting, one of the things is you have to be able to, if you're working with people, you have to be able to not be floored or impressed. It would be a big problem if I passed out every time I saw Jared or something like that. I would never get work done. So, like, to me, I just connect with him as a human, and I'm able to connect character to character. So I have to have that kind of comfortable sense and that ability to not see them as like the star or the actor. Does that make sense?
Totally.
So yeah. Thank you so much.
Hi Rachel. What was your biggest shock / surprise when you entered the Supernatural fandom?
There's so much. I had no idea what was here. I guess I'm trying to think, because shock versus like pleasant surprise are two different things. So like there's honestly every day you impress and surprise me with just your ability to be kind and come together, and also like, so one of the things that moves me constantly is not only am I lucky enough to have formed all these friendships and have people who send me the nicest messages via social media and things like that, and just literally make my day every day. But so many of you have become very protective of me too, which is surprising in the most wonderful way, where like if someone says something, you know, social media can be negative. I don't get a lot of negativity, and if someone says something negative, you'll usually get jumped on by like, oh, what you do, or like, no, don't mess with Rachel. That is like the coolest surprise on a regular basis, because people tell me all the time how negative social media is and what a nightmare it is, and I'm like, no, because I've got this like magic bubble of the coolest friends ever in existence. So that is definitely something that has surprised me about the fandom.
Okay, thank you. I love you.
And thank you all for surprising me every day in that way.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Are you having a nice time?
What?
Are you having a nice time? It's probably hard to hear in that area, so I won't talk to you too much.
What? I just wanted to know, what's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal? I love dolphins. I love dolphins. I love all animals. I've always really loved all animals. I love wolves. I love, like, there's so many magnificent creatures in the world. But yeah, I really like dolphins. There's something about their spirit that makes me really happy. What about you? What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal is a cat.
You do? I love that. Like a house cat or a wild cat or a house cat? I love it. Cats are wonderful. Thank you very much.
Hi, Rachel.
Hey. Good. How are you doing?
I've seen you speak several times about representation in media of disabled and differently abled individuals. And I wonder what you think would be the most challenging genre and the most fun genre to work in, if you could represent.
To me, it's not just about, thank you for asking this, by the way, because I could not care about this more. And it's been across the time also just coming to these conventions and stuff, because I've had to realize, wow, we really have like no good representation out there. There are very little. And it's a problem, because as I said, like, I didn't feel like I belonged in the world because I didn't see myself or anything even close represented. Because it was basically like, oh, you get sick and then you get to be the like heroic victim, or like the person who overcomes the odds, or whatever. But how do you just like live? Like, we don't see enough of that. And so what I would like to see is strong female characters. I think there are so many genres you could do that in. I would like to see strong female characters in wheelchairs living life, like having romantic relationships and things like that. And just like questions we don't even ask because we don't, and things we don't even think are possible, of just the fact that you can still exist. So I think it would be especially fun in like some of the more adventure, sci-fi type arenas, because also you could show how strong you can be and how much you can still figure out like how to overcome obstacles, despite the fact that you have different physical challenges. What about you? Do you have a specific thing in mind?
I think about like the comedy side of things, and this sounds terrible, but I think about things like Scary Movie and stuff like that, and how it would be hilarious to have the person that is supposedly not supposed to survive because they're disabled be the one that like outsmarts everyone and like survives the whole thing. I think that would be great.
And I completely agree with you that comedy in this area is really needed, because that also helps break down the barrier of like, people are so afraid to talk about these subjects. And I think that if you can laugh with people about it, that really, really helps break down that barrier.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much.
I'm a big Random Acts fan and also a hardcore reader. And I was just wondering if Misha gives you a heads up if he's including you on the list, or you just wake up to like 500 tweets of your based on a, you know.
I just wake up to 500 tweets. Hilarious and awesome. Where like I've been punked / given little gifts by my Gish friends quite often. Like the you know, make Rachel a magical creature for my birthday was just amazing. And I'm not lying. I saved every one of those. I have a file on my computer if I ever just need to smile. So yeah, but I had no warning whatsoever. So, which is what it's one of the fun things about the Gish community. I think we do that, and that's part of that institutions and that joy of just, you never know what you're gonna get. Do you agree?
And I made you a mermaid, by the way, and you were beautiful.
So much. I love that. Brilliant. Does anyone else have any questions? Because I think we are unquestioning. Are you done with our questions? Yes.
Is your favorite Harry Potter book and your favorite Harry Potter movie different?
Is my favorite Harry Potter book and my favorite Harry Potter movie different? Yes. I think my favorite, I really love the last two books. I'm trying to decide between them. Probably the last one is my favorite of the books. Of the movies, I really love The Order of the Phoenix. So.
Is that the third one? Cool.
I gotta tell you something.
Don't.
This natural crowd's not in the mood for your shit. And I didn't look, had I known I would have warned you, but holy cow.
Definitely a rich, friendly crowd.
No, I mean, far be it for me to comment on this question, though. I'm saying that. I'll be real.
That's why it's not ready for your shit. People are like,
Yeah! We're out of here! Get off the stage! It's right! Who's with me?
anyway. I will check that one out. I like the third. The third is I think.
Listen, this is a great way to start the show off, is having Rachel Miner come on the stage and read her songs. Typically, I would say, let's not watch her walk all the way out, but this is such theatrics. I mean, second only to like a Motley Crue concert are we going to be able to pull this off. So we're going to watch this whole thing play out.